scared, you know? It's like that. So he was that kind of person, very different. But she was like, he seemed to be smiling and very happy. So somebody went to him, then went to her and said, how did you do it? And she said, well, I'll tell you. What happened was the first 5 or 6 years of our marriage were extremely difficult. Because we had our differences, and I was strong-willed, and he was strong-willed, and he was imperfect, and I was imperfect. After 5 or 6 years, I sat down and said, what am I going to do? On that day, I decided to fall in love with his imperfections. What does it mean? Fall in love with his imperfections.
Ignore his imperfections.
Acceptance.
Acceptance. What is acceptance? It is accepting that this is the reality. This is truth. Remember I said in wisdom, we have to accept truth. And we have to accept that while some things might be negative, some things are positive. So we have to look at the positive in things and accept the negative. The reason for being positive, there's some research at Harvard done by a professor by the name of Srinivas Rao, neural researcher, who found the following, that when a mind is in a positive frame of mind, not a cynical mind, not a devil's advocate, not that, but a positive frame of mind, the mind looks for solutions. When the mind is in a negative state of mind, then the mind assesses risk. Because it's in a defensive state, it's in a survival state, saying what could go wrong. And when you're in that defensive, it's called a defensive crowd, a mental defensive crowd, all creativity is collapse. It's very hard. Not that you can't be creative, it's very hard. It's desperation creativity. It's not the full flow of creativity. I'm going to come to all that. But do you understand the point that I'm making? That we have to accept. Accept what? This is the truth. This exists. This is how it is. What do we do? Most of our time is spent trying to change our spouse. This is the favorite occupation of every married person. Now I want you to raise your hand. How many people have succeeded in changing their spouse?
Too late.
So we cannot change our spouse. So what can we change?
Change ourselves.
There you are.
Ourselves.
So the secret here, this I see my spelling is awful, right? Correct me, is because our experiences, our life is a series of experiences. Does anybody know this mathematical thing? Sigma, it means sum of experiences is our life. Experiences is the sum of the object experience plus the experiencer, the person experiencing. This is too tough to change, so we change ourselves. Now what did Gandhi say? Be the change you want to see. Be the change you want to see. What do? We try to change this. This is a waste of time. But if you change this, this automatically changes. This adjusts. People, it's not like people are all good or all bad and all curmudgeons on this. It's just that we are a mixture of the two. Which part is invoked depends on who is doing the invoking. Everybody get this principle? Okay. So now, having done this, I'm now going to go to Rahul's question, which was, how do we do this in the real world? I'm going to have to refer to notes because there's a lot of stuff to cover here. Let's look at our mind space. This is all the thoughts in our mind. Mind space. You can divide this mind space up into thoughts relating to me, thoughts relating to others. Thoughts relating to me, thoughts relating to others. Okay, let's write this. When I'm thinking of me, it's a separate entity. What is that separate entity called?
Ego.
Ego. When I'm thinking of others, what is my state of feeling? How am I feeling? Empathy or love? You know, let's just not be afraid of this term. When I'm identifying with others, then that is an expression of love. Do you remember, you can probably see this, Ram, can you go to a slide up there, please?
Sure.
Yes, I'll tell you where. Further up, further up.
Further down, you mean?
Further down, please, yes. The next one, next one, next one, next one, this one. Do you remember what this is a picture of? It's a Sisyphus.
Yes, right.
This is the fable of Sisyphus. Sisyphus was condemned by the gods to roll this rock up the hill. And when he got it up the hill, it would roll back down. And then he was to roll it back up. And then he would roll back down. And then he would roll it back up. He was condemned to do it for all of eternity. So let's draw Sisyphus. Sisyphus is here pushing up this rock. This rock is ego. We spend our lives servicing our ego. Many people say, I'm not a religious person. But they worship this one entity, which is, I worship my ego. I wake up in the morning and I say, okay, now how can I feed my needs, right? How can I get Estelle to do the things I want? It doesn't work, right? Right? How do I, right? I mentioned to you that the earth doesn't revolve around the sun, it revolves around me. I'm going to use me as an example because if I use anybody else, my teacher told me, if you use anybody else, they're going to get offended. So just use, you remember that joke I told you about the Harvard MBA? How they screw in a light bulb, they hold up the light bulb and the earth revolves around it. Right? So we spend our time worshipping our own ego. In fact, to the point, I sometimes think what I do is to feed my ego, I have like an IV stuck in here, right? And the IV is going, and then there are words flowing out of my mouth, and I'm feeding my own ego. Have you observed that? People say things, I think I'm not the only guy, which are designed primarily to be self-complementing. So morning to night we are worshipping this. What happens is, because of this, we are not free. This is a chain. This is the area of freedom. By the way, positive psychology, we can switch this off, has clearly shown this. So there's a guy by the name of Martin Seligman, I think some of you may know that, University of Philadelphia. He's considered the father of positive psychology, and they have clearly shown that when we keep our needs small and move to the service of others, when life has meaning, then we get lasting happiness. When we are in the service of ourselves, we get pleasure, it's transitory, but there's no accumulation of satisfaction in life. So meaning is necessary for having lasting satisfaction in life. Okay? And focusing on ego is living a life of anxiety. This is the area where people have material focus. And material focus is often addictive. So if I earn $1 million a year, next year I want to earn $2 million, then I find that my partner got $10 million, then I find that's not enough, now I need $100 million, and then I need $1 billion, then in the billionaires club I want to go around bragging to everybody, as some people we know do, that actually we have 10 billion. It's addictive. You need more and more of this. This life is a life of freedom and frugality. Now, this does not mean that people should not appreciate it. That's not it. So there's a difference between likes and dislikes and needs and preferences. Likes and dislikes and needs are things that we cannot do without. Likes and dislikes are things that imprison us because if they make us unhappy, if somebody does something we don't like. Right? That's what it is. Preferences, hey, it's great, I enjoy it. If I get it, if I don't get it, life's still good because my need. So this defines this concept of abundance. Abundance is resources minus needs. So obviously, if my needs are low and I have a certain amount of resources, I'm going to experience abundance. If my needs are huge, I'm always going to feel deprived. Estelle and I work with a woman in India who lives in a one-room house. We got to know her name is Meena. We got to know her as a cook. She was 19 years old. Estelle taught her English. We lived in India at that time. And one day we learned that she had adopted 6 children. They weren't living with her, but she was taking care of their needs, buying them school supplies and so on. 150 children. We go to the school, she's worshipped there. You know, because she's helping all these school children. They are barefoot, they're in uniforms, but they are spotless and clean. They have very little, but they are happy. And Meena took us to her home for lunch once, and we ate lunch. They wouldn't eat with us because we were the respected guests. Krishna understands this custom. Krishna, you understand that? No, because it was for us. It was we were the people who were to be honored. And as I'm walking out of her room, one-room house, the bathroom's outside. She says, I have so much, I have to give. Experience of abundance. You see what it is? It's beautiful. And people like that can do enormous good in this world. But if our own needs are so big, we are tied down just satisfying our own. We have no energy to do anything. Okay. So when we combine this thing of looking for others with a focus on our own skills and talents, skills and talents, what's the time left?
12.
Okay, we just have 10 minutes. So we're going to go. Skills and talent, something remarkable happens. Meaning and skills and talents combined, a person enters into a world of flow. Time stops. Creativity is at its highest. And people experience this joy. Scientists do it. They feel, they come into a stage where energy is being generated in the work. So the work, instead of draining energy, is creating energy. This is because of this. Everybody has skills and talent, but it is this meaning that creates this self-generation of energy. This is, if you want to read about it, the book called Flow by Milhaly, Milhaly. It's a very, you cannot spell it. I don't think it's possible to spell that name, but it's a very good book. And that's called Flow. And it does happen. I was involved in the construction of a temple in North Andover, Chinmaya Temple. And we had 3 months. 3 months before the temple was supposed to be inaugurated, the president said, "You're in charge," because nothing had happened. There were no windows. I was completely immersed on it. And on the day of the inauguration, in fact, it was done in 3 months. And during that time, it was rainy weather. Estelle would say, "Take an umbrella." And I'd go there, I'd take the umbrella, I said, "Don't forget the umbrella." Come home. Next time, I said, "Take this umbrella." "Don't forget." Come home, forgot umbrella number 2. Now, on the day of the inauguration, I took my mother-in-law earlier, before everybody came. I parked the car, and I went in, showed her. And then I said to her that you wait here, I'll go and get the parking lot was a little bit far away. So I go there, now it's raining. And the parking lot is full. Now I forgot where my car is. So I forgot umbrella number 1, umbrella number 2, I forgot where my car is. Now I'm driving, finally I find the car, I'm driving down the highway. I look to the passenger side, I forgot my mother-in-law.
There's so much on your plate. True story.
Well, the thing is, when you're, I'm just illustrating, when you're preoccupied with something, when you're in flow, everything else shuts down and the brain operates at another level altogether. If you have not experienced it, you should read that book called Flow. In this mode, I am competing with others. And I'm cooperating with myself, sometimes not even with myself. In this mode, I am competing with myself. And I'm cooperating with others. So the definition of excellence is simple here. Am I doing better today than I did yesterday? That's my guru's definition of excellence. Am I doing better today than I did yesterday? If I am improving, I will experience a sense of happiness and joy that will propel me to better and better. And because I'm cooperating with others, a lot of the loss of energy that occurs in teams disappears. This leads to something called a serene mind. Rahul, will you please read the thing?
Give me a second.
Rahul sent me something that I thought would be worth sharing with you.
Yeah, it's something that a person sent to me, a good friend, and so this is a story about Gautam Buddha Siddhartha. And by the way, for those who know the name Rahul, Rahul was the son of Siddhartha. Once Buddha was traveling with a few of his followers. While they were passing a lake, Buddha told one of his disciples, "I'm thirsty. Do get me some water from the lake." The disciple walked up to the lake. At that moment, a bullock cart started crossing through the lake. As a result, the water became very muddy and turbid. The disciple thought, "How can I give this muddy water to Buddha to drink?" After about half an hour, again Buddha asked the same disciple to go